I'm bringing some of the wisest, successful, most inspirational human beings on this planet into your classrooms for your benefit.
When everything was stacked against me, that's when I was at my best.
You never know when the days could stop counting. That's when you make them count.
You gotta shoot your shot.
We all have the ability.
I can do anything I put my mind to.
And they took a leap of faith. These are the answers, the blueprints. I'm providing them to you. I have this heart that bleeds for the youth of this country because we need to learn to lead. We need to elevate ourselves. That's how this world changes. It starts with you.
Today I'm going to introduce you to a dear friend of mine, Noelle Tsunami.
Believe in you!
Noelle's a surfer stunt devil who's living the California dream. She's an amazing example of how everybody's story isn't straightforward.
I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I grew up barefoot playing outside in the mountains all day. I've been doing stunts for 3.5 years now. If I'm not on set, I'm always training 3 hours a day, 5 days a week, and that's anything from like racing cars to like jiu-jitsu or surfing, skating, climbing, snowboarding.
You don't need to follow a linear path in your life, and most of us will experience unexpected detours. It'll take us on adventures we never thought possible. For Noelle, these detours began at a very young age.
Middle school and high school are really hard. In high school, we moved to Florida to help out with hurricane disaster relief. And while we were there, our family lost everything. We ended up going bankrupt. Our homes were foreclosed, our cars were repossessed, everything was gone. In the same space, my mom was diagnosed with a metastatic breast cancer. I suddenly had to step up, take care of my mom and my siblings, and have a full-time job and try to be a high school student. It was really hard for everyone. We kind of all just went in survival mode from that point on.
Many of us don't have to worry about the next meal that's going to be on the table or having a roof over your head. Imagine all the responsibilities of your parents or guardian falling onto you.
Because everything happened with my family, if I wanted to go to college, it was up to me to make that happen. So I put myself through school, and that included working at least 3 jobs consistently while being a full-time student and full-time internship. And it got to a space where I wouldn't go home for days at a time because I didn't have time to.
Despite her seemingly impossible schedule, Noelle graduated and felt like she was finally on the right track. What she didn't know, however, was life was about to send her another detour.
After college, I decided to just work in the ER because I was graduated, I was done, I was good. And then I ended up losing my house, my job, and my car in the period of a week. So restart number 2. I could have easily been like, I'm the victim, like, it happened again, like now I have nothing, I worked so hard for this. But you can't do that, you can't. It's not about how many times you fall, it's about getting back up stronger than you were before.
Noelle wasn't dealt the best hand, but she wasn't going to let that define her. Instead, she took those lessons and worked harder than ever to create the life that she wanted.
Anything can happen, but you have to be willing to put in the work. And it's not a bad thing, it's actually a really empowering thing. Anytime you transition to a space where you're so lonely, that's one of the most magic places you can be, because that's when you grow. That's when it's scary and it hurts and you're alone and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know my favorite colors anymore. What do I even like to eat? I don't know. But the cool thing is, you get to decide that.
Noelle was more than willing to get back up. She was ready to take her life even further and to find a more fulfilling purpose for herself.
From then, I donated everything I had except for a suitcase of clothes and my snowboard. And I bought a one-way ticket to Maui and I left. And I lived in Hawaii. And I lived at a hostel and I lived there for free because I did trade work. So I worked there 8 hours a week and just always wore swimsuits, never wore shoes, never looked in the mirror, and just ate mangoes and avocados off the trees and met some of the most amazing people from all over the world. So it was a really present way of living, and people wanted to know you because of who you were, not because of what you looked like. The underlying theme of life is love, is unconditional, being present, real interactions with people and with your environment, and to grow and learn and be and see and play and to not be so unkind to yourself and to have compassion for yourself before you can have compassion for others.
Always take time to appreciate the little things. This place is so beautiful.
With that new knowledge, she began her next chapter as a professional stunt woman. Noelle's been featured in hit TV shows, movies, music videos, the list goes on.
Done car chases and fights on Hawaii 5-0. I worked on Rosewood, How to Get Away with Murder. I doubled the lead on Annabelle 2 this past summer. I love what I do so much. I mean, I've had a handicap in my hand since the time I was a kid, making movies with my brothers. Like, stunts allows for me to get paid to skate, snowboard, fight, like act, tell stories, make people laugh, like make people feel things.
This concept of hard work was nothing new for Noelle, so it was no surprise that she would succeed and become a professional stunt woman and a gifted storyteller. A success that has allowed her to gain thousands of followers on social media.
Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, they're very double-edged swords.
It's not a place for validation, it's a place for connection and inspiration. But the second it starts becoming your only source of validation and confidence, like delete the app, be gone. The more that you reach and reach and reach for other people to tell you you're good, like you're just gonna melt farther and farther into like a space that like, it doesn't feel good at all.
Noelle and I decided to go to New Zealand to explore, give back, and so I could get a taste of the stunt life.
We went bungee jumping off the Auckland Bridge, which is funny because I crash cars and like, you know, do explosions, whatever for work, and that doesn't scare me. But there's something about it when you walk out to the plank and you literally walk out and look down and you're all, oh, maybe I don't want to do this. It's like, but you have to just do it. As soon as you jump, it's the best thing ever.
Noelle has approached her success and growing fame with a humble attitude and consistently uses her position to better the world around her.
So we connected with an amazing group of little girls and I taught them to skateboard.
My new girl tribe over here in New Zealand.
My name is Summer. My name's Mido. My name is Bella. Hi, I'm Lena.
My name's Kota. What do you guys love about skateboarding?
When you're skating, you can kind of like do whatever you want.
It's freedom on a skateboard.
Yeah.
That's really kind of like art.
But it was so cool because I've never seen that many little girls all at once skateboarding, and just like to see them in the bowls like going back and forth like all together, it was awesome, and just kind of talked about how important it is to build community from their voices from being 8 to 12 or so, and that was really awesome. I got to know them and talk to them about life and what makes them happy and things like that, and now they have a little skate crew in New Zealand, my little Kiwi skate posse.
How do I say skateboarding with a Kiwi accent?
Like eight. Like eight. Skate. Skate.
Going skateboarding.
Skateboarding. Let's go skateboarding, bro.
Yeah, bro.
It was amazing to see Noelle work with these young girls, to inspire them, to give them somebody to look up to. She also works with special needs kids through nonprofits like Walk on Water, where she provides surf therapy for children with autism, cerebral palsy, and Down syndrome.
I feel like even with all the crazy stuff that's been in my world, I've been so blessed to do what I do. I get to tell stories for a living. I get to play, and I don't know what I'm gonna be next. We'll see. You don't know, and that's okay. That's actually awesome.
So you don't have to worry about having everything figured out. You're not supposed to have everything figured out.
Adventure is accessible to you. You could have $1 or a million, it doesn't matter. You can go, like the world is open to you. Find what matters to you and just go.
I've personally learned so much through Noelle by how she treats everyone on a daily basis. Through her crazy life, she has made small daily acts of kindness a habit, and you can too. Positivity guided Noelle to live a life that she wanted. Enjoy the journey of life. You never know where it will take you. Don't be afraid to try new things. Just always remember to live a life of love. Do your part in making this world a place where everyone wants to live.